Hey, what's up guys? Ryan here. Today we're gonna do something pretty cool, pretty different. We are actually going to be modeling this 2D picture of a dice. We're gonna make it 3D, and we're gonna be using Autodesk Inventor Professional 2016. So if you want, go ahead and grab your copy and follow along. First up, that we're gonna do is we're gonna open up a new file. You can do this by either pressing Control N on the keyboard or by actually pressing the tab. So I'm going to press Control N, I'm going to click standard inches, and it's going to be the standard.ibt. So I'm going to click create. I'm going to wait. Oh, no, it's already loaded. Okay, so what we have here is a blank workspace. So what I'm going to do, first thing, is create my new sketch. Every 3D object has a 2D part, just like this dice does. You know, this is the 2D blueprint, and we're going to create this 2D blueprint in this program. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to the upper left hand corner and click start a 2D sketch, and I'm going to click the XY plane, so it brings me to the front right here. Now, something very simple, rectangle. We're going to make this rectangle a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch to create a square, and what the square is going to turn into is a cube. So I'm going to click finish sketch. I'm going to go over to extrude, and I'm going to click, or I'm going to type in 1/2 inch or 0.50 or 0.5, whatever floats your boat. And if you didn't see how I did that really quick, I just clicked the extrude button over here, or you can press E on the keyboard. So the 0.50 will be right here. Click the green button or enter, either one, it kind of works the same. So we're going to go back to the front here. So next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over our reference picture right here. So we have the 1 in the center here, so that's going to be right here. So I'm going to right click and click new sketch, and I'm going to click the construction lines right here. This is over like towards the center of your options. I'm going to click the line tool. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take one line and put it from the center down to the bottom. And you can tell where the center is because it actually locks into place. Autodesk is smart and it knows what you're trying to do. So it's actually going to lock it in. There's going to be a green dot and it's going to lock it in. And you're going to drag it down to the bottom where it also has a green dot. Alright, so now that I've done that, I'm going to go to the circle tool. You can access this by pressing Control Shift C. Right, so now that I have my circle tool, I can create a circle wherever. But first we have to undo our construction lines. That way we have a physical circle. So as I do this, I'm going to look for a reasonable width of my circle. Obviously it's not going to be huge, and we don't want it too small. We want it kind of in the middle, and it looks like 0.80 would be good, or 0.08. So I'm going to click enter right there, and that's going to be, this is going to be my line. That's going to be my circle, my indentations for each of the dots. So what we're going to do next is we are going to continue modeling. We're going to go up to the top here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to do that next. So we're going to click up here, zoom in a little bit, right click, just like we did before. Oh, sorry, we have to finish that sketch. You can either do that by clicking enter or clicking the green check mark up in the corner. So now we're going to right click on here, click new sketch. I'm going to center this. And we're going to put a couple of lines down. First thing that we have to do is click the construction line. Click line. We're going to line up the center down to the bottom, and from the center of here, 1, 2, it's going to have like this kind of double line here. Even if you do line it up all the way just like that, you can just bring it back to the center, or you can double click right here. That didn't work. Just double click, it should go away. So now what we're doing is we are we're giving ourselves a space to kind of base all of our circles off of. So we're going to pull up our circle tool again. Remember to undo the construction tool. And now I'm just going to really quickly do this. I'm just going to put one circle in the center of each branch. So I'm going to put my dimension in, and I'm going to do that everywhere. Alright, so now that we have that, we have 1, 2. Alright, cool. So now we're going to go to the bottom. And if we take a look here at the diagram or our blueprint, we have 1 and 2. This shouldn't be too hard. Right click on the cube, new sketch, center it out. There we go. Alright, so we're going to click the construction lines, line tool, one straight from the center down to the bottom, and then one from the corner to the center, and then one from the center to the corner, or the other way around, it doesn't really matter. Unclick your construction tool, click the circle, find the center, and finish sketch. And now we have those sides. Looks good so far. We're gonna do the next side. So the left side, we're gonna do 1, 2, 3. So this is gonna be relatively easy as well. Just like the 2, we're gonna put the ones down the center and then one from one corner to the other. So let's go ahead and get started. Right click, new sketch. Click the line tool, the construction tool, send your cube out. One straight from the top to the bottom. One from one corner to the other. That actually didn't work out like I wanted it to. One from one corner and then that one. There we go. Alright, so then go to circle tool, grab unconstruction it. Now find the center. There it is. 1, 2, and the third one. And that completes those. So now we have 4 sides done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take a look. Now the next side that we're going to do is the back side. Let's see. So we already have 1, 2, 3. Now we need to do 6. And the next after that is 4. So this side is going to be a 6. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new sketch. We're going to click our line tool, construction, 1 down the center, 1 from the center over here to the top, back down, center, to the bottom, and back. Alright, and then from here, just drag this line all the way over. Find the center over here, drag this line all the way over. Drag this line over. Alright, and then I should give you these. Let's do this really quick. Alright, click the circle tool, unconstruction it, center of each one of these, and go ahead and drop your circles. Alright, finish that sketch. Alright, cool. Now we have 1 left to go. So, if you didn't know, it's going to be the right side, which is going to be 4. And this is going to be pretty simple. So let's just go ahead and do that. So, right click, new sketch, line, construction. Let's take a look here. So we're going to have 1 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. to do. Alright. Line to center. Out. Center. You want to make sure that you get all of the lines that you can. That way you have the centers for each of them. Go to circle tool, make sure you unconstruction it. Center here. Got one more. There we go. Alright, so now once we finish the sketch, this looks like it would have the properties of a cube. There's lots of numbers and everything. We can go over here and click these and edit the visibility of the dimensions. That way they're not really in the way. Alright, so now we shouldn't have any dimensions or anything. Oh, what happened here? There we go. Alright, now they're back. Alright, so now that we have all the basic properties of the cube, now we need to actually make it a cube. And we're going to do this by simply extruding these inwards. Just like we extruded the cube outwards, we're going to do the opposite. So when I click the extrude button, or E on the keyboard, I can select each of these, right? And it's going to give us this option. This doesn't really look... this doesn't really look like it would be the right way, or the right distance. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this nice and small. That looks like it should be enough. And we're going to click this little paddle thing here. Click this and hit direction 2. I'm going to make this just a tiny bit smaller. Just like... There we go. There we go. Alright, so now I can do this with all of them. Oops. That was not what I was going to do. Okay, so when I click OK, it does this. And that gives us that indentation. Now I want to do that with all of them. So if I click this, the E, or the extrude tool, if I click all of these that are around here, I don't know why that's not working. If I do this though, click direction 2, click OK. Oh, you can only do one face at a side. Excuse me, one face at a time, or one side at a time. You can just do this with all of them too. Just click that direction 2, click OK. And there we go. Now this isn't totally done yet. Now you could call this a cube and you can call this the end, but I'm not. This is almost a done cube. What we can do after here is actually take these edges and do something what's called fillet. And what this is going to do, you can do this by pressing F on the keyboard, and what a fillet does is it actually rounds the edges out. So if I touch the edge here, and if I click all these edges around, oops. Like I said, you're only really supposed to do one side at a time. If I give this a set dimension that I want this to be at, if I say this, right, 0.0625, right, I click the OK button. Now this turns that into like a smoothed out edge. Now if I want to do this for all of them, all I have to do is just click all the sides and click OK. And if I do that for that, it turns it into a nice rounded cube. You can do it for here too, but it's a little bit trickier because it's the inside of a tube. But I personally just like the way that it looks just like this. So if we look at this from all the different directions, and I'm moving it around a lot, I'm sorry. If we look at this from all the different directions, I'd say that this looks exactly like a cube. Now you could take this cube and you can actually 3D print it. And I think that's like one of the coolest parts about Autodesk Inventor is that you can literally transfer this right to any compatible 3D printer, and you can turn your creation into one that is real. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned how to do a little bit of basic modeling in the video. So there you go. Awesome. Thanks, guys.